How about this? This is a true family legacy. Happens to be friends of mine up in the top right. When we started this, it was like the Brady Bunch switched positions over here. But Clint and Ed Small next to me on the right. And then, of course, big Stevie Lee on the bottom. He's carrying our weight. I mean, that's kind of like your golf game, right? You carry everyone's weight, Stevie?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Hey, before we get going, we got to give a shout out to our primary sponsor, Hargrove Roofing out of Shreveport. They have done a great job of building their brand here in Central Texas, obviously tied to the pride of Shreveport, that being Stevie Lee. No one does it better, their main marketing slogan, than Stevie Lee. I mean, Stevie, how does it go? Teach us how to say it properly.
You got to get a real deep voice. You got to get your Barry White voice on, and you got to go Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
Love it. It's my favorite part of these episodes with you every Sunday. But, yeah, they do a great job. I have a couple of friends who use them, quick, efficient, and they're now local. They're off of Ashdale and Burnett Road, and Coach Ab will take care of you. And be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube page and all of our social media platforms. So this is kind of new for the Pass Rush instead of a regular episode, but these guys, they're just good people. And Clint Small, the dad, and there's his son, Ed. And it's just a great story, the Small family. Ed is now, I mean, if you haven't heard of him yet, he is a two-sport mega superstar growing in the state of Texas. I mean, he's going to have his choice of where he wants to go in either sport. But I'll start with you, Ed. When people start talking about the Small family, when they realize all the Austin roots that you have, and then realizing who your dad is, your grandfather and great-grandfather, I mean, where do you begin with that story?
Probably begin with the beginning. My great-grandfather, and then how my grandfather, we have a small middle school named after him. I get a lot of questions about that. They always ask me, is Small middle school named after you? And I go, yes, it is. It's just a rich history here in Austin, and it's really cool to be a part of.
The Small middle school is named after your great-grandfather, right?
Great-grandfather?
No, grandfather. My grandfather. Actually, yes. Ed's great-grandfather. My grandfather. Yes, sir.
Yeah, gotcha. That's awesome. And where is it located?
It's Monterey Oaks and 290. So Southwest Austin.
So did you grow up in that area, Clint?
No, sir. I grew up in Central Austin, went to Austin High. Daddy went to McCallum. My grandfather moved down here when he went to Texas. And anyway, they were both very involved with the school district, very involved with education in the legislature and the school district in 98, 99. Had some new schools coming on, and they decided to name that middle school after my grandfather.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Clint, I mean, one thing I want to tell the viewers, whether you're here in Austin or across Texas or other parts of the country, I mean, we're going to backpedal this to 2 or 3 generations ago. I mean, Clint, one thing about this family, you could probably flip a coin to figure out whose name what, because there's really only 2 names that it's Clint and Ed, and it's just a prideful part of their family. But Clint, start on the left. That's your grandfather, and that's your namesake for the most part, right?
Yes, sir. That's my grandfather, Charles Clinton Small Jr. So I'm the 4th Clinton. Ed's the 5th Clinton. We're Edward Clinton, but if you look at him closely and you look at Ed closely, they resemble each other a whole lot. If you look at my father, there's a family resemblance that runs through us all pretty strongly.
Wow, that's a strong jaw on that young fella right there, man.
That's 1935, Stevie.
Yeah, man, he looks like an All-American.
I mean, then you move on to Clint, your dad, Ed, your grandfather played. It was tight end for Darrell Royal, right, at Texas, out of McCallum High School. I mean, there's the picture on the right. That was a huge catch against Oklahoma, and did he have a bigger one in a different game that I'm missing, or was he known for this one against Oklahoma?
That was his big catch. That was that beat Oklahoma in '67. Oklahoma was undefeated and ended up going on and winning a national championship that year. But they didn't have bowl games, they had bowl games, but they didn't have a national championship game. But that was their only loss of the season. And the next picture, which I don't know if you have, but you see him getting hit under the back hip on the left side.
Yeah.
He kind of gets flipped over. He ends up catching the ball between hands and down between his elbows, but he hangs on. But it's pretty amazing when you see that picture and you blow it up. You can see the fans' faces in the background. You know, the black and white. It's pretty neat to see everybody's expressions. You know, of that picture.
Ed, when you see these, I mean, what age did you finally, when you saw these, you realize, wow, that's my great-great-grandfather, my grandfather. And when did you realize, wow, I have not, you have to do what they did, but did that kind of motivate you to realize where you're from and maybe what your potential could be as far as athletics?
Yeah, definitely. I actually have the picture on the right hanging up in my room. It's in these like big like wooden panels in my room, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's definitely a rich history of athletics in my family. I mean, even down to like my generation, almost all my cousins are playing D1 sports right now or are still in high school. But it's really cool to see, and just it motivates me and I guess my cousins to go on that path and pursue athletics like my grandfather or great grandfather.
Well, Ed, what year in high school are you?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. And so do you have that short list of colleges yet?
I don't know. I'm still keep my options open right now. So
I hear you. No, I hear you. I don't want you to reveal anything with these kids doing those college reveals, like doing gender reveals nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you keep your thunder, man. So Clint, man, or Papa Clint, I should call you. How did you get away from Austin and go all the way up to Vanderbilt?
Wow. So, we were talking a little bit beforehand, and you had you told me about your path and your options were open, and it was similar with me. I didn't have the skill set that you did. I didn't go to get the same visits that you did, but I was pointed in the direction of getting a great education. And so I got pointed in that path. I was excited about Texas. David McWilliams came and looked at me several times. I wasn't quite big enough. He offered me to come, be a PWO and do that deal. And then I was looking at a bunch of Ivy League schools and some academies and SMUs and TCUs of the world. And then Vandy called and went up there and just absolutely fell in love with it and ended up there and, best friends of my life and great education. And, one of your mentors and one of my mentors is, our good friend, Will Pryor. And, I just love the fact that I chose Vanderbilt, and it was great for me and for my, where I am today.
No, man, I think that's a great story because I feel the same way about the University of Texas with the people that I've met when I got there, how I'm lifelong friends with them now. And we do have a mutual friend from back in Shreveport, Wilbert Pryor or Will Pryor. And when you said that, going the academic route and going and going to a school like Vandy, Will is probably one of the smartest people I know. And and when I was in high school, when I met him, he just dropped knowledge and wisdom on me, And I always wanted to be around him whenever our mutual friend, Will and I's mutual friend, Marshall, who's also an attorney in Shreveport, would get us all together. And honestly, man, that was the first time that I met a young, very, very successful Black attorney in Shreveport, Louisiana, And so that it was just inspiring that he pulled himself up by his bootstraps, went up to Vanderbilt, got a great education, played football, and have a really good friendship and relationship with you. But he was just inspiring to me as a young man in high school, thinking outside of football, because I knew then that football was just a catalyst to get me to where I need to be. Football was just, my body was going to go out on me at some point to where I needed to do something else. And Will put that in my head that there's going to be life after football and you need to be thinking about that. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on the camaraderie that you get within college,
Yep. Yes, sir.
So before we keep, because I'm a big, since I'm an ADHD guy, I love photos, love them. You'd think I was 8 years old. I'm always looking at photos. But if you look at Clint, I mean, don't sell yourself short, Clint. This is when he was at Austin High, loyal forever Maroon. There's a striking resemblance there with you and Ed. Yep. And I have to admit, not because I'm an AISD homer or a product of, but this was on the front end of the last great decade of AISD athletics, or for football. And back then, you played, what was it? It was the district champion and the runner-up got into the postseason. That was a good district, right?
Yeah, two of us. Yes, sir. And Westlake had just come in, but only 2 teams, UIL, 2 teams per district came out of. And so, we back then, I can go on a soapbox, but I call inner city schools, any school district over 3 high schools they are handcuffed relative to single member school districts these days. And so that was not the case back then. So you had the Dallas Carters and you had the Houston Yates, right? And then you had some big programs coming out. But in Austin, you had LBJ, you had Reagan, right? You had we weren't, Austin High wasn't any good, but Crockett would jump in there every now and then. And Westwood, Mark Murdoch, they would make some runs. And so it was a different time. Miss those days, especially for AISD. We're very, very supportive of AISD and want the best for AISD and all AISD athletics. But we're up against it today relative to 1990 in the 80s. Yep.
It's changed drastically. And, I had to throw it up there. I mean, I know this is about this family and Ed right now, but also, for everyone's always looking, and Steve and I talk about this a lot, for some form of motivation. This is the beginning of a new year. Everyone has a goal or a resolution or several, but you kind of utilized your relationships and from Vanderbilt to where you are now with your company. Clint Small Custom Homes. How did all that start? It's quite a background, quite a story, I know.
Wow. Yeah. I, coming out of Vandy, our friend Will Pryor, Stevie's and our mentor, he's a mentor to me and both Stevie, and he was an attorney, and I got into the LBJ school and went to public affairs school back here at Texas, and worked at the Capitol. Was thinking I'd be an attorney similar to my father and grandfather, and I, quite honestly, I just could not stand to wear a suit and tie to work every day. I just got tired of it after about 4 years. And nobody wears suit and ties anymore. But in the early 90s, we still were, in mid 90s. And so I got out and I learned from my father, my grandfather, working out at the farm, just building stuff, working with the hands. And I ended up getting a great job with a builder named Brian Bailey. And he was one of the best. And I've been building ever since.
So you do have a degree from the University of Texas?
Almost, Stevie. I went to LBJ school, and I walked across the stage, and I have a piece of paper that says, when you turn in your thesis, we'll give you your diploma. And that was almost 30 years ago. And I've never written.
Did I hear somebody laughing in the background?
My wife. Yeah. So that's a running joke in the family. But I put that on, not that I use resumes anymore, but I'll put thesis pending.
Thesis pending. Oh, that's funny.
And gosh darn it, I mean, I had terrible grades at Vanderbilt. I did my best I could, but when I went to LBJ school, I don't know, I had a 3.5 or better, and I never wrote my thesis. And I just
come on, man.
I know.
Come on. Are you able to go ahead and write that and turn it in now?
I would love for you to write that for me.
AI will do it.
Yeah. AI will do it.
I'm not a really good example for my kids as far as things out, I guess.
Nah, he's okay, man. He's like, Dad, it's okay. That thesis gave me that without having a thesis gave me a great life. So you're good, man.
Yes,
we're gonna circle back here in about 10 or 12 minutes about your wife laughing in the background about her and your daughter. But I definitely, I just want to talk about more about Ed, because this is unreal. What you're going to pretty much write your ticket if you continue this path where you are. I know right now you're one of the, I would say, the top 5 baseball players in the state of Texas for your class. Football, and I'm going to bring up the stats in a minute. But Stevie, I mean, I don't know. I've never met, whether it be friends with or in my former career, someone who is as high a performer or the top 5% for 2 different major sports. I mean, Ed, you don't even think about it. It's just love. I mean, passion. I mean, now you've got some big decisions, and I know in the end it's going to be your decision.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely this spring will be big with just baseball and then recruiting for football.
Well, back up and tell them how it started in 9th grade.
Well, it really started in 8th grade.
8th grade.
So my 8th grade spring, I hurt my arm, so I didn't really play. But then the summer of my 8th grade, going into my freshman year, I had a really good summer in baseball. Then I started talking, because baseball recruiting starts a lot earlier than football does. So I had a few calls with, I think it was like Tennessee, TCU, Stanford, like a few in Texas too, and Duke maybe. And then, but Texas was calling me the most, it seemed like. And then I went to a camp the following January, and I did well at that camp. And then the next weekend, I got offered for baseball, and then I committed right after I got the offer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you committed to Texas right now, or you kind of backing out of that?
I'm still committed for baseball, yes, sir.
You're still committed for baseball,
yes, sir.
Okay, all right, man. You're about to break my heart because I saw the commitment to Texas right here, man. And so congratulations. That's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
And Clint, that's actually awesome to have a kid that you don't have to pay for to go to college. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I have a daughter at Dartmouth, and so I feel you.
There you go.
So this is what I was talking about, Stevie.
That's a man right there.
Since his freshman year, I mean, not many people can dream up these numbers, and he still has a season to go in football. I mean, it's unreal. 153 receptions, almost 2,500 yards. This is just receiving. And
wow.
Or is that receiving, or did I get it wrong, or is that combined?
I think that's receiving, but my freshman year got cut short because I.
So you didn't get his freshman year stats.
Okay,
that's what he's trying to say, but that's receiving. He has 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns as well.
I've thrown 2,
and he's thrown 2 touchdowns.
I didn't get one this year, which was unfortunate. I was hoping to get one every year, but maybe we'll get one this coming year.
Stevie, he's one of those guys that teams, I'd say 2/3 of the time they have to gang tackle. Every time.
Got you. You know what? I would say something. You must got that lower body strength like your dad, huh?
Sir. Yes, sir. I got the speed from my mom and the strength from my dad.
There you go, man. Because I talked to William prior, and he told me your dad's nickname. Do you know your dad's nickname from
Biggie.
college?
Biggie.
Yeah. And he wrote to me. He said, not from the rapper, but from other reasons. I'll let him tell you that reason.
Why don't we have Clint tell us how that name came about?
I mean, it was the first day of two-a-days. And so back then, Stevie, actually, you're a little bit later, so I don't know if y'all broke off, but freshmen came in still when I was there in 90, and we had 4 days of two-a-days with the freshmen only. And the varsity was all around, but they weren't practicing with us. The very first day from Derek Bozier from Hansville, Louisiana. I know where Hansville is. Yeah. Big boss man. He walking around, and I'm going to the shower, and he just says, "Gosh, damn, you have the biggest ass of any white man I've ever seen." And that was when Biggie Smalls was blowing up, and I mean, from then on, I was Biggie Smalls, and so
Biggie Smalls.
and it just now my kids, everybody knows it. I'm just Biggie. So
yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome. So you get your lower body strength from your dad, Ed.
Yes, sir.
Athleticism from mama.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So I gotta say thanks again, because who goes to San Antonio, which is 80 miles away, or depending on what side of town, 100, but plays golf, hustles back for a podcast. And this is the reason why the All-American, which is the high school all-star game, All-American game in San Antonio, they have a national combine for underclassmen. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, you've been in a few of these, right? Or is this the biggest one you've been a part of?
This is the biggest one I've been a part of so far. Yes, sir.
What did you kind of have an opportunity? I mean, is it basically the top at each position in the country?
Yeah, so there was like 600 or so people there, so it was a pretty big event. And they send out invites like throughout the fall. They have like recruiting coordinators that go to games all across the country. And then I got invited after the Del Valley game this year because there was a guy there from, I think his name's Anthony Williams.
Yeah. Great. Good human.
Williams, we know Coach.
Yeah. And then we got there the day before. It was on Friday. We got there Thursday. And then it was all day Friday. It was a long day, but it was a lot of fun.
No, that's well worth it. And you got to play at one of the golf courses on my list that probably don't want me there because I will create a ton of divots in the beautiful course. There's absolutely no doubt that'll happen. Right. Stevie, I need lessons from you.
No, you don't need lessons from me at all. I go out. My golf game consists of a lot of cigars and drinking. So it's social hour for me.
That's a great day.
I got a quick question, man. Being a two-sport athlete, do you get this all the time? I want to ask you, where are you leaning? What sport are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards football right now.
Yeah. Now, do you want to be one of those dual athletes in college?
I'm thinking about it. I'm not quite sure right now. I'm going to see how the spring goes, just with baseball. It's with everything.
Because we don't hardly see that these days, right, Clint?
No, sir. No, it's uncommon. Just I'm his dad, but I'm going to be. I think I can be honest about it. He has the ability to do it, and it will take the right situation, right?
Yeah.
It'll take the right institution, coaches to understand and to be willing to let him play both. Skill wise, physically, he can play both at a Power 5 D1 level, but it's just going to take the right opportunity and the right coaching and the right support staff.
Yeah.
Ed, I was going to ask coaches, and this is something that my opinion does not matter, but you hear it a lot with a lot of some of the 5A, 6A schools in Texas focus on one sport more. I'm totally against that.
Yes, sir.
I mean, surely you're a huge advocate against that because everyone matures differently as far as their body physically.
Mm-hmm.
And Clint, I mean, you work with young people developing in baseball. I mean, are you an advocate of that too, or am I off base on that?
No, I mean, I think it's great just because, I mean, first of all, if you play one sport year round, you can get burnt out real easily. And so taking breaks from each one is very important just to get your mind reset to play the sport in the season that it requires. Because baseball, I mean, it's a long season. We'll start in a few days when we get back to school, and then it'll go till May. And then I've been playing summer ball, and that goes till the end of July. So the season's real long, and it's easy to just get caught up in it and get lazy and like a mindset of playing every day. And so taking a break in the fall, playing football, it's great just to get everything reset and have just a new perspective on the sport.
I mean, I'll have to add, I mean, if you have not seen him play, to me, I don't think you've never not enjoyed it. Every down you're having fun.
Yes, sir.
I mean, and Clint, do you kind of see, I mean, I know we're tied to Anderson High School, but Stevie, you got to watch this next season. Seriously, just check them out. I feel like you've kind of elevated everyone else around you. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so. I think just as I've grown each year, it was kind of hard to lead freshman year because I was the new guy on the block. But then it built in the sophomore year, and I was more vocal, and especially this past year, I was definitely more vocal and just lifting everyone up, especially because we had a young team this year. We had a bunch of sophomores having to play, and we had how many seniors? 15. We only 15.
A lot.
Yeah. So we barely had any. But now our junior class is pretty strong. So I think this next year should be at least my best year here at Anderson, and hopefully make the push for the playoffs.
Well, whenever we finish a season, man, we never call ourselves juniors anymore. You're a senior now.
Yes, yeah, I am a senior in football.
You are a senior now. So in the off-season workouts, in the summertime, man, you take control of the team just like you're a senior because you are now.
Yes,
you are the leader on the team. And it already sounds like you know that, but I'm preaching to the choir. You are a senior now, so take control of it, man. Yes, and have fun. Just have fun. I remember my high school days. I'm sure your dad remember his high school days, and just that's the main thing right now is just to have fun, relax, and play your game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint, I was going to ask you, you talk about, I know we were harped on everyone playing multiple sports right now, but at that high level, I mean, we saw it when you and I were younger. You saw the Shea Morens do it, Peter Gardere do it at Texas. There were a couple of Johnny Walker, baseball, football. Do you think it's just too much of a demand, or it just takes a very unique talent or person? Because nowadays it just seems like there's more of a demand to do that at that high level.
I think high school coaches will preach playing multiple sports. I think they believe in that. So, some programs, bigger programs that are, I'm going back to that single school district, just big craziness. And I think there's actually a little bit more pressure from parents and family and to focus on one versus the other within the group. But I think every head coach would say, if you want to play basketball, you want to play baseball, if you want to go wrestle, you want to play football, go do all that. And I honestly think they'll say that. Now, to do it at a high level is something. It takes somebody special. Ed's baseball team, the select baseball team in the summer, is one of the top 10 in the country for the last 3-4 years. And on that team, he's got players who, I would say until last year, but half of them at least were dual sport athletes, right? And so, and they are high level baseball guys. I think there's 7 guys on his summer team that are already committed to play college. and
Probably
more.
Like 10, yeah.
10 now. And so there's a when you get to that level, it's great. But to your point, to be able to play both in college, it takes an institution, and it takes a player and a family to make all that come together. So
yeah, when I've had this argument before with friends, I think it still can be done. I just don't think that coaches are being collaborative, right? So the baseball coach wants Ed full time, and then the football coach wants Ed full time, and so, but for a two-sport athlete to actually be successful at both, these two coaches are going to have to work together to mentor and lead this athlete. You know what I mean? So
our head baseball coach is Ed's wide receiver coach.
Oh, well, there you go.
That kind of works out.
Well, there you go. So, and that's why we got it right now. So, if that wasn't the case, then we may be looking at something totally different. So,
you have to have the institution, whether it be college or high school, but the coaches have to be aligned, right?
They have to be aligned and collab together, man. And what do we say? Collab without ego, right? Because there's going to be times where the baseball coach is going to need them more, and the football coach is going to have to kind of put the back seat on practice a little bit, And so they just really have to collab, I guess. So I don't think that college coaches are doing that nowadays. It's just, I think the pressures of high salaries that we're paying these guys too, that they want to keep their athlete to themselves,
I think Allison told me the other day, I think there's 7 to 9 15 Division I athletes that are playing both. In Power 5, there's only 2 or 3, and so it's hard.
That's a very minute.
Yeah, that's very, very small. That's in a sport with 116 D1 schools, and so you only have 5 players doing it. So I'm happy to be sitting here with somebody that's going to be doing it,
Hey, Ed, speaking of that, I mean, you're not going to allow pressure from anyone or any direction to, push a date on you or make a decision. Ideally, how do you want to handle this as far as when you finally make up? Do you have a time frame, or is it just you're going to go with your gut feel on it?
I'm definitely going to wait till next fall and just see how it all pans out. I don't want to rush anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. First I heard that. I don't know.
No, I mean, I say, listen, hey, and now, so back in the days when we were being recruited, Clint, like they didn't fly our families out and things like that. So y'all enjoy the fruits of his labor or your labor and his labors, man.
Yeah.
So with these schools,
yeah, we did. Yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, we didn't go on recruiting trips. We didn't talk to anybody other than a letter in the mail until November of your senior year.
Yeah. So,
and he had 6 weeks to figure it out. Yeah. No,
let these schools spend all this money on him, man.
100%.
Yeah, man. So if you don't do it, hey, man, make a commitment on the last possible day that you can.
Man, that's
get all the NIL money you can get, man, because we didn't get it.
Well, see, that's another factor. I mean, I don't know how much that's been discussed on your recruiting, but now I'm starting to hear from other friends of mine whose kids are going through it, and NIL is an entirely different animal as far as recruiting. I mean, I don't know how much that'll sway a decision, but man, if someone can provide me a salary for just showing up and going to class and practicing, that would weigh heavy in my decision.
Yeah, that's our decision, though, man. That's because of us. I'm sure that Ed has everything that he needs, and he can make a decision based on academics and athletics. He doesn't have to worry about the NIL money, but get as much as you can, sir. But it would have been different for me, man. It would have been the money, the academics, football, be a high second.
tweet a little bit, make an Instagram appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. We haven't talked to anybody about NIL. I mean, zero conversations.
Okay.
Been
That's
committed.
kind of encouraging, actually.
Been committed to Texas baseball for 2 years. Zero conversations. TCU offer zero conversations. Other schools, just I think that'll just be organic, and that'll happen when it happens. That's not going to be something that we bring up. It's Ed's decision for the right institution, the right academics, the right fit, the right feel, the right playing time, right? The right, So it's he's a slot receiver, and in most people's mind, he can play outside all day long, but he's 6 foot, and a lot of coaches may just put him as a slot, and so you also got to find out what the best offense is for a slot receiver.
Got you.
No, that's a really good point.
Ed, did you ever play any defense?
I did in middle school. I did all growing up.
Yeah.
I haven't since. I might play some next year, though.
What do you like better? Did you like offense better?
All right. I played running back from Pop Warner all the way to 8th grade. And then when I got to Anderson, I played receiver. I played outside receiver my freshman year. And then I played slot the last 2 years.
That's awesome.
So,
He's built for the slot. Let's talk about two young ladies here. First of all, Clint's wife, your mother. She's the only Hall of Famer in your family.
Yeah, I'll bring her in. Hold on.
Yeah, we need.
Okay, she said no. Okay,
She said absolutely not.
she is the only Hall of Famer in our family. Yes.
She was at a division. What is it?
She's Division III. She went to Denison. She's in their Hall of Fame, and she still holds the record for most points scored. And I guess her senior year, she was an All-American Division III basketball player, point guard.
Look at that!
Wow,
Bunch of ballers in the Small family.
Wait, your wife played basketball?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your daughter played lacrosse?
Yes, sir.
She plays lacrosse at Dartmouth.
At Dartmouth, yep.
Gotcha, man. Just athletic family all around.
No,
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool story. Hey, you guys, this is something we've had. I know this. What is this? Episode 340. We've had at least. Everybody wants to offer two. We try to get one. So we had over 600 different man cave stories, which are phenomenal. I mean, some of the stories they should not have told, but because they came from the locker room. But it was hilarious. I loved it. But is there any story that you guys as a family remember that happened, or maybe anything sports related that is as comical today as it was when it happened?
Well, for me, it stuck with me for, the last, 35 years was when big boss man, Derek Brosier, nicknamed me Biggie, day 2 going into the showers. You're like, you got the biggest ass of any white man I've ever seen. And that's just carried on for 35 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
A locker room story.
That's good stuff.
Did you get that big ass genetics, Ed?
Yes.
Unfortunately, everybody on our side of the family, man or woman, has that strength. Now, it's a positive right now while they're playing athletics. Ed has a cousin who's starting freshman at Georgia volleyball. She's center. She's 6'2". Another cousin starting Michigan lacrosse. She's a senior. She's a midi. Sisters starting up at Dartmouth, the TAC. And then his younger cousins are working their way in that direction too. But all of them have pretty thick legs, pretty thick thighs and asses.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. It runs in the family, bro.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is,
that's good.
It's a little bit of ghetto, you got to get that. A little thickness is never a bad thing.
Clinch. You went to Sir Mix a lot, huh? LA Fix with an Oakland booty. Baby got back in here, huh?
Yeah. One of the teams that didn't make it, but had a great year. But we'll start with Ed. You know, you've got Michigan, Midwest type team, physical. Then you got Washington, the team that knocked Texas out, who I think a lot of people think the best quarterback in the country. Who wins?
I think Michigan's going to win just because their defense is so good. I know Washington's receivers are pretty much unguardable, but Will Johnson's Michigan's best corner, and he's going to be on what's his name? The number 1 on Washington. It's like Rome Odunze. He's going to guard him the whole game. And I think Michigan's going to slow it down to where it's lower scoring. So I think Michigan's going to win.
What do you think, Clint?
We were fortunate to go up to the Michigan Ohio State to the game Thanksgiving, and Ed actually ended up going back to the house. We were 1 ticket short, but Michigan stout, right? They are defensively and offensive line, even though they lost that left guard center in that game. They are just really strong, and I think they're on a mission, you know, for Harbaugh for the last 3 years getting knocked out. You know, I think it's their year.
I agree. Stevie, you kind of feel the same way?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I got Washington, man, even though they kicked us out.
Yeah.
Penix, if you really watch the game against us, Texas and Washington game, our DBs were actually there.
Yeah. That he was so good.
Penix just can't be stopped.
Yeah.
He was dropping the ball in the exact spot where it needs to be. We even got hands on the ball and they still caught it. Right. So you can't beat a quarterback when you are guarding them perfectly. There was some big plays, and they beat us off of explosive plays. Right? We had a few explosive plays in the end because we had to get them, but we were like driving down the field like you're supposed to and eating up the clock. We were playing the game like we wanted to on offense for the most part. You know, there were some drives that stalled, but Penix found a way to win. You know, he's the X factor that had them winning the game because, you know, just like hitting his receivers in stride, our DBs were there on them with almost perfect coverage. And the only reason I don't say perfect coverage because the receiver caught the ball, just because where the ball was placed. And so I got Washington. He's going to continue to do that. He is the best quarterback in the country. Shout out to the kid from LSU that got the Heisman, but once again they got it wrong. They got it wrong because we all know that Vince. Can we all agree that Vince should have won over Reggie Bush?
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely, hands down.
Thank you. You rolled your eyes a little bit, Clint, when you said that.
I just because it's just such a silly. It's a statement. I mean, of course. I mean, he was the best all year. All Reggie did, he was great, but he had that one flip in the end zone on the left side, and he had got a flip deal on the right side, and he got eyeballs, and that was it. I mean,
and sports writers sometimes should not be sports writers.
No, that was
100%. I will agree on that one.
The ones that vote should not be voting sometimes, you know. So, Penix is, I believe, he's the best quarterback in the country, and he's going to lead his team to victory, I believe.
I'm with Ed and Clint. But the reason why I say that.
Come on, man.
Oh, listen. You saw how well Texas ran against that defense. They couldn't stop the Texas run until they started fumbling.
That's true.
Michigan's running game, they're gonna win time of possession, maybe double it. And they're gonna run all day. That's all they need to do.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
But they're gonna give up 27 points.
Nah. More than that. Penix cannot be stopped. No one stopped him yet.
I'll say 31-27 Michigan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So y'all gonna all be buying me a drink and a pizza or something.
Hey, Clint and Ed, I appreciate you guys making time for this. Really do. It's too good a story not to tell. Everyone needs to know. I know it's when you guys do interviews, it's mainly about what Ed is doing right now, about recruiting, and I know it's repetitive, but you and your family have a great story, and I was like, man, we can't miss this, especially right now because you're going to be gone before it's all said and done. And then we get into a university, we can't talk to you.
No, I think that you guys' story is awesome. I love that you guys can trace it and go all the way back to 1935, man. That is something that you should hang on to and cherish. And then Clint obviously marrying up with marrying another athlete, and people tell me all the time I outkick my coverage too. So
you did.
Yeah. Thanks, Clint.
Yeah.
So I mean, y'all have a great story, man. Y'all embrace it, and you can tell that you guys are tight knit family. So, man, just continue to love on each other and wish you all the success in the world, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch. And by the way, Stevie, what a cool story there. When he was playing for Mac Brown, his now wife, Summer, was a cheerleader at Texas. So
how about that?
Pretty cool story.
Yeah, I married up, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'll kick my.
What we all have to do.
Do what?
I tried once. It failed, but one of these days we'll do it again.
No time soon, though, man. Don't worry about it.
No, it's all good. It's a story of life.
Hey, thanks, guys. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate you guys. You guys, happy New Year. We'll see you guys soon. And on the other side, look, we have 2 division champions in the Lone Star State. We'll talk about. I cannot wait to hear Stevie's feedback on that. Bijan set a record, but for now, here's Stevie Lee acting.
Here at Hargrove Roofing, we try to think outside the box to kind of get the creative juices flowing. So I brought in my friend Stevie Lee, former defensive tackle for the Texas Longhorns. He's going to help the team strategize, really motivate them, light a fire.
This guy's going to block down. This guy's going to block down. You put your butt into the guard, and that way my Mike linebacker gets free to do what?
Not only are they going to learn a thing or two, but they're going to also leave with a great attitude and a bunch of smiles on their faces.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with roofing exactly?
Get out.
Right now.
I said get out.
For me, that's what it's all about. It's just having fun, making our employees have a great time. Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
We got special people in this room. This is a special group of men, believe it. Continue to lean on each other, continue to trust in each other. We can go as far as we want to go.
How about that, dude?
That's awesome.
Who would have guessed the Texans? They won, they lost like 26 games in the last 2 years. And here we go, the Brady Bunch boxes all over the damn place. I just think C.J. Stroud, if he would not have missed 2 games, he's probably the player of the year.
Yeah, he came along towards the end of the year, man. I was surprised the way he played and picked up the offense that easily. But it's really cool to have the two Texas teams in the playoffs this year, man. It's really neat.
10-7, the Texans record. And here's something funny. DeMeco Ryans, the Texans head coach, toward the last, I covered the Texans in person when they started, went to training camp. DeMeco Ryans, I think, arrived in the 3rd or 4th year, or 5th. He was a defensive lineman. And look, full circle, man. He's the head coach. Well-spoken, incredibly intelligent, knows how to relate to players and dig to touch and reach every player. Who's a grown man. Man, that's saying something, man. 26 losses in the previous 2 years. And look at them now.
Yeah. No, they're definitely on this upward trajectory. I think they're ahead of schedule right now too.
Yeah.
So they could be good for a long time if they, draft correctly and make some the correct trades to get some people around CJ. And they could be good for a long time.
How about them Cowboys, baby?
How about them Cowboys, man? Funny story. I was in AT&T Stadium this morning.
For what?
My friend Philip, I went to go see his son play flag football. The whole flag craze going across the world. He had playoffs today, so I went up there to watch him play, and his 9U team won a championship. So it was really fun to watch.
Philip Giger.
Yep.
Former Longhorn, baby.
Yeah, man. It's my guy.
Cowboys. So you were there. You gave them good luck. Cowboys, third straight year they finished with 12 wins in the regular season. NFC East champions. Everybody thought early. I mean, every game, man, people need to learn that. Don't get so caught up in the lead such as Philly had early in the year. But Dak Prescott, 35 touchdown passes this year. I really think he's had a great year. I really do. And, Michael Parsons, tremendous. I mean, it's unreal what he has done. He is the leader. I think he's had 40-plus sacks already. Already. But guess who they play? They're going to host the wild card round. They're going to host Green Bay. And Green Bay has Dallas's number in the postseason. It's time to end that.
The Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys are in the playoffs. And the University of Texas was represented in the college football playoffs, man. Texas football is looking really, really good right now, all around.
Well, they are, but there are some questions here because as you move forward, I mean, we all know that the transfer portal is not going anywhere, and I like its existence. It just needs to evolve. But here's some of these shock me. In addition to the guys who declared for the NFL draft, that being Jonathan Brooks, Byron Murphy, J.T. Sanders, Ryan Watts going to the NFL draft, of course, Jordan Whittington, and Xavier Worthy. These are all the portal entries from the Longhorns. I mean, what does this tell you? I mean, you got Jaron Thompson, who has played significant downs for Texas over the last 3 years, starter, leaving. What does that tell you as someone who is a lot more in the know than I probably am, more than likely?
Honestly, Clint, sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Jaron, I don't know why he would go into the transfer portal, right? And there's some other kids at other schools that I don't know why. Now, it could be that he needs a payday. So putting himself out there, and this is just speculation. I don't know this for sure and anything like that, but he may need the money at this point to go out there and test how much he could get in the transfer portal. That could be a factor. I don't know. But it's mind-boggling to me when you get significant playing time and you're going to get even more playing time coming up. Why would you hit the portal, So we do need to figure this whole thing out and see what's actually going on and why these kids are. And, again, we don't get paid the big bucks to figure this out.
No.
The coaches do, right? And I got a feeling they're in for raises coming up this year too. So they got to figure out how we need to keep the people that we want to keep.
Yeah.
Now, in the same breath now, we don't know if our coaches are telling these kids, well, we got somebody else coming in that we're going to take a hard look at. So that person might be playing a little bit more. And then some of these kids on this list may get disgruntled with that.
Right.
So it's a lot that goes on into it to try to figure out if you're going to transfer or not. And I hope these kids aren't taking this lightly because this is a big deal, you know?
No, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's I want to get to the bottom of it, and I think I'm going to take that as a mission.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to do Sawyer Gorham Welch justice by everybody seeing his name too, because it was covered up right here, you know. But
yeah.
You know, that's the name of the game now. The fans have got to adjust. The fans have got to understand this is where we are now. And it gives kids an opportunity. It's just I think we need to eliminate multiple transfers. You get an opportunity to go somewhere else that's a better fit without losing. You should never lose eligibility if you're not happy, but you shouldn't be able to go multiple times.
Well, isn't it now to the second transfer, you have to sit out? You lose a year?
Something may have changed today, and I'm not aware of. Some legislation.
It's the Wild Wild West, man.
TikToking in the man cave. Two people I know, actually. Sam Gannon was my predecessor or successor in Oklahoma City. She's now in Dallas-Fort Worth, and she and Mr. Ducey, who is the well-established sports director at the Fox affiliate in DF Dub. Well, they're a team, and they do great work. And so they took on one of the social media trends, and this was absolutely spot on and hilarious.
For co-hosts, of course they paired you with someone 30 years younger to create a different dynamic.
We're co-hosts, so of course every time we're out in public, I get referred to as your dad or even worse, your grandpa.
We're co-hosts. Of course we're going to complain about different things at the same time, so neither of us can get a word in edgewise.
We're co-hosts, so of course I have to bore you with stories about the good old days and how these days never ever could compare to the good old days.
We're co-hosts. Of course I have to pretend like I'm hearing your stories for the first time and react with the same enthusiasm, even though I've heard it about 500 times.
We're co-hosts. Of course we enjoy doing the show as much as we say we do. Just wish I had a little more airtime, if you know what I mean.
Sam Gannon, Mike Ducey, watch them online. They do good work.
That's good stuff.
That's funny. Oh my God, that was hilarious. And I got to let her know she finally made the cut on Stories Inside the Man Cave. Sam Gannon.
There you go.
Hey man, tell me something good.
Stevie Lee, it was a rough week getting back into work after all the holidays. Last week went to work, showed up, but it sure was difficult mentally. But tell me something good, brother.
Man, something good. I'm going to just keep it into Austin. Keep it Austin, man. Weather's great right now. Get out and do something outdoorsy. The sun is out. It's not too hot. It's not hot at all. Brisk, breezy air out there, man. Get out and do something, you know. Get some vitamin D. Get some sun on you, man.
Everyone needs D, a certain amount each day.
Absolutely, man.
Tell you something good. I didn't create any graphic for it, but I thought it was really cool. You saw it. I didn't expect it to be the experience it was, but
I know where you're going.
Yeah, my mom's house. I sold it to a young couple, and the husband reached out to me and asked me I want to take a tour. They align with the right contractors, everything. The home is stunning, beautiful. He asked me a question. He said, what do you think your mom would think of this? And I said, you know, my mom was so stuck in her ways that, this is my beauty. This is my palace. I don't want to ever change it. She would have stood in that living room and chin on the ground. And, man, I wasn't sad. It was just, man, great job. You poured some good job into this place. It was a beautiful home. For the two prides of Shreveport, that being Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof, not as good as Stevie, and Stevie Lee and his beautiful family, and the OG Man Cave boys, that being Hardball Hards, Big Mike, and Coach Mo. What do we tell them, Stevie Lee?
We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.